Why do I think the Dog Cancer Survival Guide continues to be a bestseller? The book has done so well for a couple of reasons. First, there's such great need for it. Canine cancer's at alarming levels at this point. 1 in 3 dogs gets cancer, 1 in 2 over the age of 10 gets cancer, and in some breeds, like Golden Retrievers, it's even worse. 75% of Goldens die of cancer. Second, what the authors have done is brilliant because the book provides hope, regardless of the type of cancer, the stage of the cancer, or the age of the dog. As the book says, no matter what you've heard, there are always steps you can take to help your dog fight and even beat cancer. And that's not just back jacket copy, that's the truth. As an editor, I loved working with the authors, in part because I'm a dog lover myself and I learned so much from them. Dr. Damian Dressler and his co-author, veterinary oncologist Susan Ettinger, are authorities on dog cancer, but they're not in an ivory tower somewhere. They're also excellent practicing veterinarians and big-hearted, kind people. We knew from the start that the massive amount of information the authors needed to include was going to be complicated and unfamiliar for most readers. So we designed the book to be both comprehensive, it's nearly 500 pages, but also easy to use. It's pretty easy to find what you need and get oriented, which is important because, as Dr. Dressler says, dealing with dog cancer is like suddenly having to go on the Iditarod, that long, difficult journey with only your dog for company. At least it feels that way sometimes, especially at first. Most of our readers are in shock when they first get the book. The format we use helps them to get the information they need in the order they need it. The book's divided into 5 major sections, with chapters on each section on specific topics. The first part is for everyone whose dog has cancer. It's called My Dog Has Cancer, Now What? It's an overview of where you are now and where you need to go, and it focuses on the mindset you need to have to successfully choose treatments for your dog. Dr. Dressler introduces you to the concept of full spectrum care, which means not being dogmatic about choosing conventional or alternative treatments, but instead using the treatments that have been shown to help, no matter where they come from. He discusses things like your role as your dog's guardian and how you're going to manage being your dog's primary health care advocate, the role of your own emotions in your dog's treatments, and he answers the most common questions we all have, like, how could this happen overnight? Why didn't my vet catch it earlier? And the really painful one, is my dog dying right now? In the second section, part 2, we cover more of the medical side of things you should know about dog cancer. There's an entire chapter just on vocabulary, literally definitions of phrases like median survival time and metastasis, and what remission really means to an oncologist. There's also a section on how cancer begins in the first place, how it spreads once it's begun, and a fascinating chapter on this amazing biological process called apoptosis, which is natural cell suicide. There's also information on how cancer is diagnosed and staged. So the third section gets into the nuts and bolts of Dr. Dressler's full spectrum approach. He lists the 5 types of treatments to consider using with your veterinarian. Includes conventional treatments, of course, but also nutraceuticals, immune boosters, a special diet that can really help, including guidelines and a basic recipe you can modify to your dog's preferences, and brain chemistry modification or quality of life treatments. That's the stuff, of course, most people think they most need, the what. But in my mind, the next section, part 4, is just as important. In this section, Dr. Dressler walks you through how to make confident choices by assessing your own situation with your own dog, your finances, your emotional and time management issues, and what's available to you for veterinary care. This chapter is invaluable for making a plan you can have confidence in. Also included in part 4 is a really helpful section on pain management, lots of ideas on how to increase life quality, and tips on how to work with your vet and other professionals. He also discusses how to pay for it all, including organizations that can help you financially. Finally, if you need it, This section also has a chapter on hospice care and end-of-life choices. Now, Dr. Ettinger, our veterinary oncologist co-author, has supervised all of these sections so far and even chimed in with her own perspective in sidebars. But the fifth part of the book is completely hers. In it, she discusses the most common chemotherapy drugs she uses day in and day out, including their side effects and precautions she takes. She also dedicates an entire chapter's worth of detail on each of the most common dog cancers. So each of those chapters on individual cancers include details about how aggressive they are, what's known about their prognosis, as well as lots of details on what to expect on the conventional side of medicine. At the back of the book, you'll find several appendices that are really useful. There's an appendix that goes over the supplements they recommend and how to prioritize them, called the supplement hierarchy. There's another appendix that lists supplements that Dr. Dressler doesn't recommend and why that is. There's a long reference section with lists of the books and papers used to write the book, so you can read the original literature on each subject. There's an appendix with helpful organizations and resources, and another on common sense guidelines to follow to help prevent cancer and improve longevity and health in your otherwise healthy dogs. And of course, there's an index which lists every word we could think of that you might want to look up. So in the end, the book is comprehensive, easy to use, and provides results for readers.